last week was talking about how to work together with others in the body of Christ to end Bible poverty.
对，我的学校的时候，当时就说我们怎么可以跟不同肢体一起来，就是可以有更多的圣经去到一些没有圣经的地方。
But the reality is we can't end Bible poverty out there unless we're ending Bible poverty in here.
也就是说，如果我们要把圣经就是传出去，我们先要心里面有知道圣经是什么，对于圣经了解是什么的重要性。
It's only as we have a fresh engagement with God's word personally that we can inspire others to engage with God's word actively.
而且我们不只是单单的就发圣经而已，我们心里面需要有真的神的话语，神要在我们生命里面有真的是转变这样的一个这个基础先。
And so I'm going to tell you a story.
所以要跟你们讲一个故事。
It's not an original story.
这不是我创造的故事。
This story is told several times in several ways in the Bible.
对，这个故事是圣经的故事，已经说了很多遍了。
You can read about it in the books called Matthew and Mark and Luke and John.
对，在圣经的这个马可、马太、路加，还有约翰福音都有。
And each of these people, as they tell the story from a little bit different angle, add some rich details.
对，这每个作家他们说这个故事的时候，都有一些稍微的一些变化。
This story is about a man that I love a lot.
他这个故事就是一个我很欣赏的一个男生。
He's an full throttle, all out, nothing held back kind of a
对，
guy.
他是一个很激情、很火热的这样的一个人。
He only knows 2 gears, stopped and full steam
对，
ahead.
他就不是那种慢热的，他只是要不然就停着，要不然就完全是100公里一个小时这样。
Sometimes he goes full steam ahead without thinking first.
有时候他的行为可能会觉得很鲁莽。
And he finds out that he's stuck his foot in his mouth before he realized what he has
很
done.
多时候他可能会没有猜到，其实他做的事情太快了，可能已经犯了错。
I envision him as kind of a big husky guy,
我觉得他可能就是那种个子比较大的一个人，
very familiar with the outdoors.
他就可能在野外生存很厉害的。
He'd scare you in a dark alley.
对，你在晚上见到他的时候，你会被他吓到。
But around a table in the sunshine, he'd make you laugh.
可是你亲近他的时候，你可能会更觉得其实他人是很温柔的。
A winsome, attractive, courageous, bold guy.
对，他虽然说很粗俗，可是你觉得他还是很有魅力的一个人。
His name was Peter.
对，这个人就叫彼得。
And he was one of 12 who walked really closely with Jesus.
他就是这个12门徒的其中一个门徒。
He loved Jesus, Jesus loved him.
对，他爱耶稣，耶稣也爱他。
But even when you love Jesus intensely, things don't always go the way you expect it to go.
可是很多时候，虽然说我们心里面就是非常的渴慕，非常的爱耶稣，可是不一定全部事情都会顺着我们理想的。
This story that I'm going to tell you starts about 3 years into their relationship.
对，这个故事呢，就是他们的这个关系的第3年发生的一个事情。
It's some of the last days that Peter and Jesus spent together.
是耶稣跟彼得他们最后的一些日子在一起的日子。
And it began around a supper time
就是很久以前的一个事情。
where they had all gathered and they were remembering at this meal great things that God had done in their nation in the past.
对，他们就在一起吃饭的时候呢，就回想以前神在他们的国家就是做了一些很神奇的事情。
That God had been a God of deliverance.
对，神就是救赎了他们。
That their people had been slaves without identity and without purpose.
他们以前的民族呢是这个奴仆的，就是没有身份也没有地位。
And God intervened.
可是神来救了他们。
And God came in miraculous ways and set them free.
所以神通过就是很大的这些神迹奇事来
They
救赎他
discovered
们。
life.
他们就是有新的生命，
They discovered identity.
他们有新的身份，
They discovered a reason to live.
他们也是有就是生活的一个目标。
And they were having this meal together.
他们在一起吃饭的时候呢，
It had been an exciting 3 years.
这3年呢是他们就是很享受的一
If
个
you
时
could
间
have。pulled Peter aside and tell me some of the highlights.
如果你抓住彼得跟他说，这3年你的时光是怎么样的呢？
The list of stories would have been long.
对，他就可能说了一大半天都说不完。
He was a really good storyteller.
对，他说故事很行的。
He might have told you of one night when they were crossing the sea.
他可能会说他以前跟这个人过一个这个湖的时候，
He called it a sea.
对，他刚只过这个湖，
It was actually more like a lake, not very big at
可能是
all.
海，可是其实是有点像一个小湖。
But this is where he spent most of his life
对，可是他这个湖呢，就是他在这个湖长大的。
because he was a professional fisherman.
对，他彼得是以前是渔夫，
He was in the food business.
对，他是做餐饮的生意的。
On this particular day, they were crossing, and probably he would tell you that they were using his boat.
他可能当时在过这个湖的时候呢，是用他自己的船。
And they'd had a busy day.
他们当时很忙碌，
And they hadn't had time to eat.
他可能没时间吃午饭，还是吃饭。
Actually, when he tells the story, he often talks about food.
对，我觉得彼得他谈事情的时候，通常都讲谈吃的。
For a good part of the previous 3 years, they had lived in his house.
对，我觉得他耶稣在的时候，他可能是经常住在彼得的家。
Jesus and these friends had moved in his home in Capernaum.
我觉得哇，他就是接待耶稣到他的家里面来住。
The first day Jesus showed up,
所以耶稣来的时候呢，
it was a bit of a crisis.
那时就是哇有危机了。
His mother-in-law was sick.
他的就是他妈妈就病了，
If she was sick,
他病了，
she couldn't prepare food, and there were all these guests.
所以如果他妈病的话，没有人做饭，他哎呀就很
Oh,
难堪。
I need help.
他说哎，我需要帮忙。
He told Jesus.
他说耶稣啊，
Jesus came and touched her,
所以耶稣来就触摸他的妈妈，
and she was immediately well.
妈就被医治了。
She got up
他起来，
and did the great hospitality thing that mom-in-law always did,
对，他就做了就是很丰盛的一个餐来接待他们。
and everything was good because they had food.
他们就吃了，就全部都事情都顺利了。
But then it got really crazy.
是之后有一个疯狂的事情发生，
Jesus was healing so many people.
所以耶稣就完全的医治了很多人。
People were storming the house.
所以现在他们的家就是变成哇，每个人
Crowding
病的人
around
都
it all
来
the
来
time.
见耶稣，就是挤不下来了。
There's so much going on.
太多事情发生了。
I know it's hard to believe this, he would tell you.
他说可能你没办法相信，
There was so much going on.
这么多的事情发生，
They didn't even have time to stop to eat. Can you imagine that?
对他们没有时间就停下来吃饭。
I mean, eating, that's really important when you're in the food business.
对我觉得彼得来说，吃呢是很重要的事情。
And I have a rather healthy appetite, he would have told you.
他说可能彼得跟我一样的是喜欢吃我们的饮食。
So they were crossing the lake,
他们在过这个湖的时候，
and they hadn't eaten.
他们还没吃，
No one had been thinking about it.
当时也没有人在想，就是预备吃啊，还是什么时候吃。
Peter was always thinking about it.
可能我觉得彼得他经常在想吃，
And then he tells them the story.
他就说这个故事。
Oh, actually, there was one loaf of bread.
他说：“哎，我们这边只有一个面包了。
How did he know that? ”
他怎么知道呢？
He tells you about this in Mark 8.
在马可福音8章，他说
Mark was one of his colleagues.：“
对，马可呢其实也是一个门徒，就是当时跟他在一起在场的一个人。
Mark traveled with Peter
对，马
later in
可
life.
当时跟彼得就是一起去很多
And
的
Peter wasn't very
宣
good at
教，
languages.
所以彼得他语言不好，
So Mark did for Peter what Ben is doing for me.
所以马可呢有点是像我现在这个情况，就是
Mark
不能
was
帮我
his
翻译。
personal translator all the time.
所以马可是一个有语文恩赐的一个使徒。
Mark had translated these stories for Peter hundreds and hundreds of
觉得
times.
马可跟彼得呢，就是他们就是有这样的一个运行这样的一个关系。
And so when Peter was executed for following Jesus,
对，在历史里面，就是彼得当时他被判死刑的时候，
everyone said, Mark, would you write down these stories?
我们就说马可，你可以记载他的生命的故事吗？
And Mark remembered exactly how Peter told the stories.
是马可就写了一个很清楚的故事，因为马可也经常跟着彼得在一起。
There was no food in the boat.
对，马可就说，彼得当时说
Everyone
没有
was hungry.
当时这个船里面没有食物，
Except for one loaf.
只有一个面包，一块面包。
Whose loaf do you think that
觉得
was?
这块面包是谁的面包呢？
The one telling the story knew.
谁知道吗？
He always had a little special backup supply.
就他永远都有可能，人家没有这个东西吃的时候，他有一些后备。
But that day was a hard day. What was he going to do with his loaf? Was he
所以
going to
如果
share
每
it
个
or
人都没
not?
吃的话，你有一块面包，你会分享出来吗？
He could never get anything past Jesus.
对，他就不想就分享这个。
He would have told you so many stories
我觉得彼得他认识耶稣，他有很多
of
耶稣的故
the
事。
time when they had to pay taxes.
那时候他们需要去交税的时候，
And Jesus said, Go fish.
耶稣说：“哦，你去钓鱼。”
What's this carpenter telling me to fish? I'm the fisherman.
他就说：“哎，这个渔夫不是这个做木匠的，怎么
He
叫
said,
我渔
if
夫
you
怎么来
fish
钓
today,
鱼
you'll catch one fish.？”
说他就跟我说：“你去钓一只鱼，
And open it up.
过后你去钓的话，你就开那
And in
个，
its mouth, you'll find a coin that is just enough to pay your taxes and mine.
就这鱼里面呢，就可以看到鱼的嘴巴，还有一个什么银币
Wow，
这银币就可以帮助你去付
He would
你
have
的
told you,
税
I've。been fishing all my life, and that had never happened
他说
before.
我一个渔夫从来没有钓过一个鱼里面有钱的，
But it happened that day.
可是，在圣经里面发生了。
It reminded him of the first day he met Jesus.
对，这也是他第一次见到耶稣的时候所发生的事情。
He'd been fishing all night.
对他可能那是他钓了一整天的鱼，
And this man shows up on the shore.
他们钓的不成功，突然间一个人就在岸边出现了。
And he says, How's it going?
他说：“哎，你们钓的怎么样？
It's been a horrible night.
我觉得很不顺利。
Worked all night, haven't slept a wink.
对，钓了一周没睡觉，
Nothing to show for it.
是一个小鱼都没有。
He said, You're putting the nets on the wrong side of the boat. Put them on the other side of the
说
boat.
你们这个撒网的地方错了，应该撒另外一边。
What does this man know?
说这个疯子，你
He's
回
not
家
a
吧。
fisherman.
对你钓了几年了，
But he looked at me in a certain way.
可是哎，当时这个人看着我就很特别，
And I thought, I better do what he
觉
says.
得啊，这个他太奇怪了，我就跟着他说吧，就跟他这
So
样
I
去
did.
做。所以我就把这个网撒
And
在
all of a
这里面
sudden,
突然间
there was this tugging on the nets.
这个网就很
And
多
it
的
got
压
fuller
力，
and fuller and fuller.
对，拉起来就很沉的感觉，
And I couldn't hold it.
就拉不起来。
I called my brother Andrew.
对，我就把我的兄弟拉过来，
And then our friends James and John, who had been in the same situation all
对
night.
我还把其他朋友也拉过来，一起把这
I
个
called
网
them.
拉回来。
And together we pulled in the nets.
我们一起的努
There
力
were
才
so
把这
many
个网拉
fish
起
that
来
our。boats almost began to sink.
对，这个鱼是多到就我们的这个船差点就沉下去了。
I knew that this was just no ordinary.
我觉得这个人呢
Event
就不是一个普通的人了，他是一个特别的人。
I fell before this man. Jesus said, Stay away from me.
对
You
那时
don't
候就
understand.
在这个面前就跪拜下来说：“你远离我，我是一个
I'm not a clean man.
对我是一个罪人，我不洁净的。
And he looked at me. ”
对他当时就看着我。
In fact, the first time he saw me,
就其实这耶稣第一次见到我的时候，
he came up to me.
他来见我，他来到我面前。
My brother Andrew had brought him to this such place.
对我的弟弟，他把耶稣带过来。
And he looked at me and he looked right into my soul.
耶稣当时见我的时候，就是他仿佛是看到我的心灵。
And I hadn't even introduced myself.
当时我还没就是自我介绍，
And he said, as if he knew me already,
他就是很像看穿了我的心，
Your name is Simon,
他就跟我说：“你的名字是西门，
but I'm going to call you Peter.
可是我要给你新的名字叫彼得。
Who was this man? ”
这个人到底是谁？
Who knew me?
他连我名字也
And
知
before
道
I。had a chance, began changing me.
我还没有就是正式的认识他，他已经开始改变了我。
He saw me for who I was and who I could become.
对他看到我就是以前的我，还在看到我将来的我。
Who is this man
这
Jesus?
个人到底是谁？
3 years had gone by,
所以他们的故事就已经发展了3年，
and they were now gathered around this Passover meal.
他们就来吃一个过节的一个餐。
It had been exciting days,
他们就经历了很多很有趣的事
exhausting
情，
days,
他们也可能很累，
sober days,
也有一些就是比较沉重的一些
hope-filled
时
days,
间，他们也是有很多盼望的时间，
scary days.
也有就是很惊吓的、很恐怖的一些时间。
The crowds were so fickle.
我觉得这些可能那些跟随他的这些人群呢，都是有时候就很快的会变。
Sometimes it seemed like they were going to on our side, and sometimes they weren't.
有些这些人群呢，有时候很支持我们，有些人就是觉得他要杀了我们这样的感觉。
And Jesus began speaking very seriously.
所以那时耶稣就开始很严肃的就向我们教导一些事情。
He spoke as if this was our last night together.
他的语气就是说，仿佛是他今晚是他生命的最后一晚了。
I didn't know what that meant.
对，可能彼得会觉得他为什么这样说话呢？
it unnerved me, it scared me.
对，有点是觉得让我担心他是不是为什么这样说话呢？
He said that he was going to be arrested,
对，他还说他就要被人家就是抓起来了，
and we were all going to desert him.
他还说我们这些门徒每个人都要背叛他，离弃
He,
他，
he quoted the scriptures when he said this.
而且他还就是说了圣经与预言到这个事情会发生。
He told us that the prophets had prophesied what was going to happen that night.
所以他还甚至说，这些以前的先知已经预言说，今天晚上会发生这样的事情。
Something like that he was going to strike the shepherd and all the sheep would scatter.
对，他是说以前有一个预言说，这个牧羊人就要被抓起来，这些羊呢就开始散掉了。
I said, Jesus, it can't be that way. No.
对，那时候彼得可能觉得耶稣你在说什么呢？不可能，不会这样的事情发生的。
Even if everyone else deserts you,
他说，就算每个人就离弃你，
even if everyone else abandons you
就
and
算你这边的
runs,
每个人就不要你，
I won't do that.
就我不会离开你，
I'm willing to die for
所
you.
以我的生命是愿意为你死的。
And then he looked at me again
可是这个耶稣又来看着我，
and he said, Peter,
他对我说：“彼得，
I've been praying especially for you.
对我其实经常为你代祷。
I've prayed that when this night's over,
对我特别的为你代祷，说这今晚还没结束之前，
that your faith won't fail.
所以你的信心呢不会就是崩溃。
And then when you've repented and turned again,
当你悔改，你再回来的时候，
you'd strengthen your brothers.
对你要去鼓励你的弟兄们。
He didn't say if.
他没有说如果你的
He
信
said,
心崩溃，
when you do this,
他说当你的
you will
信
do
心
this.，
当你要回来的时候，
He had just said something that just didn't make sense.
我觉得他就是完全就已经知道这个事情要发生了，就是不符合
When,
逻辑
when。I told him I was willing to die for him,
当我跟耶稣说我愿意为他而死的时候，
he told me that very night
他还甚至跟我说这个晚上，
I would deny him 3 times.
所以我也就是说否认他3次。
Let me tell you what happened then.
对我跟你说之后发生了什么事情。
We finished the meal.
我们吃完了饭，
We sang the hymn that we always sing at the end of this meal out of Psalm 118.
我们就唱了个诗歌，诗篇118，我们吃了每个顿餐都会唱的诗歌，
And we went out into the night.
我们就走出去了，
We went to one of Jesus' favorite places to pray.
我们就去了这耶稣经常去代祷的祷告的地方，
It was a garden where there were a lot of olive trees, and it was called Gethsemane.
就是叫哥斯玛尼，是一个园子，就是有很多这个橄榄树的园子。
And he said he needed to pray.
所以这耶稣当时说他需要祷告，
We were all really tired, and
那时我们都很累惨了。
but he said, Peter, would you and James and John, would you come closer and be with me while I
说
pray?
可是耶稣当时跟我说，彼得还有你们这几位可以帮助我一起跟我来代祷吗？陪我。
So we drew to a side, and I started to hear what he said,
开始我就陪他，我在听他祷告什么。
but then I fell asleep.
对，很快的我就睡下去了。
And after a little while, he shook me.
对，过一段时间他就把我摇醒来，
He said, can't you stay awake?
说：“彼得啊，你陪我吧，你不要睡。
I need you right
我
now.
现在是最需要你的时刻，
Your companionship
对
is
我真的
important
需要
to
你
me.
是来帮助我，来陪我。
I felt like I'd let him down.
对，那时候我觉得，哎呀，可能我被责备
So
了
I
这
try
种感
to
觉。
rub the sleep out of my
那
eyes,
时候我就是设
try to
法，就
shake
是说
myself
不要
into
睡。
alertness. And again, he started praying.
对，我就开始在看他的时候，他就继续祷告。
But I quickly fell asleep again.
这个是我真的是没办法，就在睡了。
This happened not only the second, but a third time.
对，这发生了3次，他叫醒了我，我又在睡。
And after that third time, I was awakened by this loud noises and shouts.
第3次我起来的时候呢，不是因为耶稣把我摇醒，是一个很大的声音，
People were filling the garden.
就觉得突然间这个园子出现了很
It
多
was
人。
usually a very quiet place.
这个园子突然以前是很平静的一个地方，
But there's soldiers
可能来了士兵，
and officers shouting commands.
来了一些就是军官，他们来这边就开始发命令。
And one of our own that had disappeared earlier in the evening came up and greeted Jesus with a kiss.
我看，我其中以前跟我在一起的一个门徒，他怎么跟他们在一起的？
And
他
then-
来耶稣面前给他亲了他的脸，
And then they grabbed him.
而且这些士兵呢就把耶稣抓起来了，
They took hold of Jesus.
他们把他就是绑起
And I
来。
thought, this can't be.
我觉得，这是到底是什么事情呢？
So I had done something I hadn't done all these years with Jesus.
对，突然间我就开始发怒起来了，我就做了一个我以前很久没做
I
的事
hid
情
a。sword under my tunic.
对，我经常我就隐藏了一把
I
剑
thought,
在我的
I'm
身
not going to
旁。
go down without a fight.
对，这些人抓我，我不会就白白给他们抓。
So I took it out and I lashed out at the person closest to me.
那时我就把我的我的剑拔出来就开始攻击他们。
My eyes were still adjusting to the torches blazing in my eyes.
那时候可能我还看得很不清楚，
And I realized I hadn't done a mortal wound, but I cut off this man's
可能我就
ear.
随便那挥把一个人的耳朵切下来了。
Everyone was yelling and shouting,
每个人都在惊慌，
but Jesus was so calm.
可是耶稣他很平静，
He looked at me and said, put away your sword.
他就跟我说：“彼得，把你的剑收起来。
And then he stooped down ”
过后呢，就蹲下来，
and picked up the ear that was on the ground,
把一个被砍下的这个耳朵就捡起来，
stuck it back on the man's
就很
face,
像奇迹般的就把它贴回去了。
and the bleeding stopped.
而且贴回去了后呢，就完全就复原了，
He
也没有
left
流
his
血。
hand, and the ear was restored as if I hadn't done a thing.
就这个耳朵呢，就仿佛很像我没有砍下来之前就
I had
的
seen
状态。
Jesus do many miracles, but that really caught my attention.
觉得哇，耶稣以前的奇迹里面，这个可能是比较，我觉得数一数二的这个的奇
At
迹。
this point, as the soldiers were shouting, most of my friends had run away.
那时候我的很多的朋友已经离开了，
I figured I need to get away too.
觉得我不跑呢，我就没机会跑了。
And I ran away and left Jesus.
就那时候我
There
也不知道为什么，我也开始跑了。
I didn't run too far,
我跑了很远，
just where it was safe enough.
我不是跑了很远，我跑到一个就是可能安全的距离。
And then I saw them dragging Jesus off to the house of the high priest.
我看到从远处就看到他们把耶稣抓起来，带到这个祭司长的家。
I turned around and followed.
我就跟着他们到这个祭司长的家里面去。
Everyone else left except for my good friend John.
对，除了我跟我的好朋友约翰，全部的门徒都离开了。
John was ahead of me following,
那时约翰跟我在一起，我们在跟
and I
跟
followed
随。
behind.
对，其实约翰在我的前面，我在他的后面。
John and his brother James, they have a really big fishing business.
对，我的彼得跟约翰他们这几个弟兄有一个
They're
都
quite,
是，
they're quite well-to-do financially.
他们其实是很富裕的渔夫。
And because of that, they know all the bigwigs in Jerusalem.
对，他们其实是在耶路撒冷是很有势力的这些人
And。so when he got to the house of the high priest,
对，当时他们来到这个祭司长的家的时候，
the servant girl who was tending the gate, she recognized him.
对这祭司长的这个看门的人，他们就认得出，你是这个彼得，是
He
很
and
有
his
钱的渔
family
夫。
were well known. They were
Dude.
part of the society circle.
对，因为彼得他的家族可能是在一些高阶层的这些社会里面是人家认识的，
So she let him in.
所以这个仆人就说：“彼得，你进来吧。
And I was stuck there at the gate. ”
所以他们就进来了。
After a while, John realized I was at the gate.
对，可能之后呢，他可能是一个门徒进去，另外一个门徒
And
在
he
外
came
面。
back and he talked to that servant girl.
对，他就回来跟这个仆人说
And she let me in too.：“
对，所以我们两个门徒也进去了这个祭司长的家。
All of this is in the scriptures.
这些都是经文里面说的，不是我自己编的一些细节。
And Peter would at this point say, Now I have to tell you one of the saddest parts of my
可
life.
能彼得会就在这个段落的时候就说，这是我最悲痛的一个事情。
It was getting very late,
那是很迟，
nearing midnight.
就可能就是凌晨半夜了，
It was cold.
是很冷的时间。
So I saw some guards and servants gathered around a fire that they built in the courtyard.
那时候就看到一些士兵，他们就在一个地方就起火，我就去那边就是
And I-
取暖，
I gathered near to warm my hands.
我就去到这个火这边，我就取暖。
When I did that,
可是当我去那边的时候，
one of the servants' girls came up and said, Didn't I see you with Jesus of Nazareth?
对，其中的一个仆人就来看着我，你不是跟那个耶稣在一起的那个人吗？
Aren't you one of his followers?
你不是他的一个门徒吗？
And I was afraid.
当时我第一个的感受就是我害怕，
I was outnumbered.
我觉得我这边我是算少数，他们抓我的话我没办法反抗。
The guards who had taken my Lord were right there, and if I said yes, they'd take me too.
对，刚刚那些抓了耶稣的士兵就在我的面前，如果我说是的话，我也肯定被抓。
So I said no.
所以我当时我第一个反应就说不，
I don't know the man.
我不认识那个耶稣。
And I slipped into the darkness.
那时我就开始藏起来了。
The cold forced me back towards the fire sometime later.
这个是很快的，因为这个很冷，我又再回到这个火来这边取暖，
Once again, I was by that fire.
我又回到这个火的当中的面前。
And this time, another servant girl came up.
这另外一个仆人呢，又来见到我了。
The way you speak,
他说：“哎，你说话的这个
I
口音，
detect an accent.
我觉得你是那个哪什么地方的是吗？
Aren't you from Galilee?
你应该是加利利人是不是？
Is it? Aren't you possibly one of the followers of the man that's on trial
你应该
inside?
是跟那个刚刚被抓的那个加利利人跟他有关系的是吗？”
I cursed her.
当时我就骂出话了，骂脏话。
I didn't use language like that in the last 3 years.
哇，觉得我在跟耶稣在的时候，我很久没骂这种语言了。
I try to make myself absent.
当时我就真的是尝试，就是脱离这样的一个环境。
Now, there are a couple things you need to know.
我觉得这是我们中间我们需要来理解的。
Things that he didn't have to explain because he and his listeners all knew how things worked in their culture and their time.
当时彼得的文化里面，还有他的那些他当时的文化，他可能没有这么彻底的解释一些事情。
But things that are unfamiliar to you and me in
可
our
能我
culture.
们现在的文化去阅读的时候，我们没有详细的去理解。
Jesus had said that he would deny him 3 times
耶稣当时说，你会跟彼得说，你会就是否认我3次，
before the rooster crowed.
就是那个鸡还没叫之前，你会否定我3次，
Or more literally, before cock crow.
就是这个鸡还没叫之前。
You have to understand that this was not about a little animal, the husband of the hen.
对，其实这个鸡叫的这个说话的这个比喻呢，这不是说一个动物，就鸡真的是叫了后，它否认了
In
3次。
spite of the little birds that are on top of church steeples and little cock-a-doodle-doos that you see here in Hollywood movies,
对，可能你看那些图片啊，还是教堂，他们就画了一些图哇，彼得在这个火面前，这个公鸡就叫了后，这样的一个图片。
Jesus was not talking about an animal
可是
with
当
feathers.
时耶稣说的这个比喻呢，不是实际说这个公鸡在叫的这样的一个事情。
I mean, really, if he was, what a easy prophecy that would have been.
我觉得如果他说是叫的话，那这个很容易，就是很容易实现的这样的一个印证。
You're going to deny me before a rooster crows.
说你可能这个公鸡叫之前，你会否定我3次。
You know, only if you're from the city do you think that the rooster crows at sunrise.
对，除非如果你不是住在城市的里面，你就知道这个公鸡呢，不是在就是天亮时候才叫。
There are many roosters that I have wanted to kill throughout the night because they
如果
have
你是在
made
农
all
村
kind
长
of
大的
rackets
话，
incessantly throughout the night.
对呀，如果你在农村长大的话，也就是说这公鸡是最烦的，就是我在短宣的时候，很想把这个村的每个公鸡都杀了，因为他们这个公鸡是整个晚上都在叫。
And in a city that's in festival mode, that is flooded with tourists, there's all kinds of fresh meat ready to be slaughtered and eaten, roosters included, okay?
就是说我们在城市里面可能没有意识到这个可能公鸡的这样的一个叫的方式。
So there would have been lots and lots and lots of roosters around Jerusalem.
所以那时在耶路撒冷的时候呢，肯定是有在很多的公鸡在那个时间。
Which cock-a-doodle-doo?
所以到底是哪一个鸡
Which
叫
rooster?，
哪一个鸡还是真正的预言呢？你不清楚。
I mean, that's a pretty safe thing. It's kind of like saying, you're going to have a challenging experience before you hear a dog bark. Which dog? Which bark? When? You know?
对，所以你要用逻辑来思考这样的预言的时候，就你在公鸡叫之前会否定我3次。哎，哪一个公鸡啊？ 是要具体的说是哪个鸡，他叫的哪一次是3次呢？
In the
也很难说
Roman world,
所以在古代的时候，
the night watch was divided into 4 parts.
就在看守这个时间晚上时间的人，他们有分4个时间。
Soldiers who went on duty for 3-hour stints of time.
对，他们这就是看守的人呢，他们就每3个小时的换轮班。
The first watch would go till 9 o'clock,
所以第一班呢到晚上9点，
then to 12 o'clock called midnight,
所以这个12点就换另外一班。
then to 3 o'clock called cockcrow.
所以第3点的时候呢，就是叫这个公鸡鸣班，就是公鸡叫的时
And
候。
then to 6 o'clock called dawn.
所以这个6点的班呢，就要这个凌晨，就是天亮的那班。
Jesus said, "You are going to deny me 3 times before the cock crows twice."
所以耶稣，你就按着这样的方式来思考的话，就是说，你在这个鸡还没叫之前，你会
He was
还没叫两次之前，你会否定我3次。
He was referring to a precise second
所以当时耶稣在比喻他的这个说的方式是说，在这个凌晨3点的时间，这个很具体
what
的时
would
间，
happen in Roman cities, or cities that were under Roman occupation,
就在那时罗马的文化的这个城市里面呢，
is that on the city wall,
就在这个城墙，
at each of the watches, at 9, at 12, and at 3, and at 6,
就在这个9点、12点、3点、6点的时间的时候，
they'd start in one place on the wall and they'd blow the trumpet.
对他们就会吹这个号角，就9点钟了，呼，
We'll try that again. And if the trumpet blew,
所以那个吹这个号角的时
it
候，
meant the guards on that post were awake and alert and all is well.
也就是说这个就要换班了。
And then the next one would do the same.
所以那个换班的人呢，士兵就要过来。
The next group of guards would do the same.
所以那个下一班他们
And
就
then
过
the
来了，
next, and the next, and the next, all the way around.
所以他们就真的就全部集体就换班。
So the second cock crow
所以这第2个鸡鸣的时候，
was the second trumpet at 3 a.m.
就是说在这个3点钟换班的
These were loud.
第2个号角的时候，
Everyone could hear them.
这是每个人都听得到的时
If
间。
ever there was silence,
对，就是说你整个城市都会听到这个号角
it。was an immediate alarm. Either the guards had fallen asleep or they'd been murdered, and everyone was called to action.
对，如果你3点钟没有听到这个号角的时候，就是说哇，可能这个士兵被杀了，还是看守的
You
人睡
wouldn't
觉
have been
了
to。guess which little animal was going to do
对，那时你就
cock-a-doodle-doo.
不是需要去听是公鸡叫，是一个号角。所以耶稣的这个比喻呢，是这个号角的声
So
音。
a third time, Peter's by the fire.
所以这第3次，彼得又回到这个火的面前。
And he's challenged.
对，那时就他已经我已经否认了2次了。
And again, he denies Jesus.
所以他又在第3次的就否定了耶稣。
Now let me just give a little pause here. Why am I telling this whole story?
所以我为什么要说的这么长的一个故事呢？我来停顿一下。
What does it mean to deny Jesus?
对，当我们否认耶稣的时候，这是什么意思呢？
It means to disassociate yourself with him,
就是说我跟耶稣，我跟你没关系，
to distance yourself from him,
就是我跟你远离了。
for a brief moment to act as if he was not there and present.
对，可能不是一辈子，可能就是说这个时间我暂时的跟你否定，我不
Peter's
想
in
跟
the
你有什么
courtyard.
关系。
He can look in and observe from afar the proceedings.
对，可能彼得在这个祭司长的家的门外，他可以看到里面耶稣被审。
He can strain and hear the arguments that the religious leaders are bringing against his beloved master.
对，可能他甚至可以听到这个祭司长就是控告耶稣的一些话语。
But when he's challenged,
可是他当时被挑战的时候呢，
fear
他第一个回应是惧怕。
leads him to violate friendship.
对，他的惧怕呢，就导致他就是去断绝这个友情。
Friends,
这个我们朋友，
whenever you and I sin,
当我们就是犯罪的时候，
we usually can't bring ourselves to do that until we've denied Jesus.
很多时候我们没办法，我们犯罪之前呢，我们需要就是跟像彼得这样的，
We
就是否
distance
定耶
ourselves from
稣
him.
先。对，我们就是说耶稣，我跟你没关系。
We pretend as if we've never known him.
对，比如就是仿佛说我不认识耶稣。
We dishonor the years of love and grace and intimacy and walk that we've had together.
我们在犯罪那一刻的时候，就是说我们仿佛就是这么多年跟耶稣的关系，这么多年的这些经验，我们就完全断绝了。
The particular of your shortcoming or my shortcoming is really not as important as the fact that we've just broken friendship.
你的罪还是你的哪一些软弱，这个不是重要，重要的就是我们真的在跟耶稣的关系里面，我们已经就是毁坏了这样的一个友谊。
And so Peter says again a third time, I don't know him.
对耶稣不是彼得第三次说，我这个耶稣的这个人我不认识他。
And two things happen immediately, we're told in this
他一
scripture.
说完那一句话的时候，就有两个事情发生。
First, there's the blaring 3 a.m. trumpet blast for the
他一
second
说完那
time.
句话呢，突然间整个城市就吹了那个3点钟的那个号角。
Jesus, the second thing is this.
第二个事情就是，
Jesus is in the trial,
耶稣在那个被审的时候，
and he is not thinking about himself.
那时耶稣他被审的时候，他关心的不是自己的安全，
He's not worried about himself.
他不担心说自己可能今晚就可能没
He
命了。
knows what he's going to do.
对，他知道他需要经历什么东西。
Jesus is not listening to the false
对
accusations.
耶稣他没有去听这些人怎么的控告他，
He's listening for that trumpet sound
但是他听的是听，他也在耶稣也在听这个3点钟的这个
because he
这个
knows
声
the
音
moment it goes off, his friend is going to be shaken to the core of his being.
对他还知道这个3点钟的号角一吹的时候，他的朋友呢就是完全就是会崩溃。
And so we read in Luke's account of this story
我们看到另外一个路加福音他怎么记载的时候，
these amazing words.
他就是路加福音就写了这些话语。
At that moment, the Lord turned and looked at Peter.
路加福音就是说，在那个号角一吹的时候呢，那一瞬间，耶稣就回了头，
They're
就看了
talking
彼
about
得。
killing him.
对，当时耶稣要被
His
杀
life
了，
is on the line.
对，他的生命已经是不保了。
While Peter is distancing himself from
而
Jesus,
且那时，
Jesus is running in his heart towards Peter.
所以当时耶稣最有需要的时候，彼得反而就是说否认他，
And he
是耶稣
turns
还是亲近的说
And
来
he looks out through the shadows into the courtyard.
所以那时耶稣第一个只想的是彼得，我的朋
And their
友。
eyes connect
所以那时他眼睛就看到这彼得
like
眼
they've
睛。
connected so many times.
就很多时候，这个眼睛，他们彼此的都是很长时
And
间认识
Jesus'
的
eyes
眼睛。
say to him, I love you.
对，直接当时耶稣通过了眼睛
You're
跟他
mine.
说：“彼得，我爱你。
You'll get through this.
所以你要继续的坚持下去。
You'll
你是我
come
的
through it.
你要就要胜过这个
Stay
情况
strong.
你要要
Have
坚
hope.
强，你们要有盼望，
Don't lose heart.
不要失去盼望。
This phrase that Jesus looked at him, that's repeated many times in the scriptures.
我觉得这个经文就是在这个不同的这个书里面，就经常被提醒过。
As I shared earlier, it's the first word that describes Jesus' first action to Peter when they first meet.
这经文就这样说，就是当时耶稣见到彼得的时候，他的第一次，他是这样的行动。
In Mark and Matthew and Luke, it tells the story of Jesus' encounter with a rich young ruler.
可能是之前的一个故事，马可福音10章21节，就是说耶稣跟彼得他们见到一个年轻的一个富裕的年轻人。
And Mark makes the point. This is, remember, Mark is Peter's story through his translator Mark.
然后知道马可就是有点像是彼得的这个翻译员。
When Jesus answered the question of this rich young ruler who wants to know, what must I do to inherit eternal life?
对，当时耶稣就回答这个年轻的财主，就是说、我怎么可以来继承就是永生的生命呢？
And he's deciding, do I follow Jesus? Do I not follow Jesus?
但是这个年轻财主就在决定说，我应该真的相信这个耶稣来跟随他吗？还是不要呢？
It says, looking at him, Jesus felt deep, genuine love for him.
对，当时马可这样记载说，耶稣说看了他的眼睛，耶稣就是心里面真正的爱他，爱这个年轻的财
All
主。
the disciples noted that look in Jesus'
所以，
eyes.
但是这个眼睛的这个爱呢，每个门徒
This-
都知道，他这样的眼睛就是说他的爱你。这样的眼神
Compelling, embracing, kind, engaging, loving look.
对他的眼神就是充满了恩典，充满了爱，充满了的良善，就是这样通过眼神来拥抱你这样的感
He
觉。
was with his eyes, saying to that young man, I want you to be mine.
所以那可能耶稣当时在跟这个年轻人说：“我要你真的是成为我的，来跟随我，我爱你。”
Peter and his friends had all experienced that look multiple times.
所以彼得他们可能他门徒都经历了很多次这耶稣这样的眼神。
We're told that when Jesus came up to a tax table where a guy named Matthew was sitting,
就那时我们也就听到一个故事说，有一个人来
Jesus came to a tax table where there was this man named Matthew.
对，那是耶稣来到一个就是收税的一个人面前，就是在马太，
He was
他
just
收税
doing
的。
his business, going to collect the money.
对，马太当时就是收税，这是他的职业
It。says Jesus looked at him
当时耶稣说，他看了马太，
and just said, Follow
说
me.
你来跟着我，
Nothing else.
就没有说什么，就看了他，就说你跟着
What
我。
was in that look
所以他的这个眼神到底是
that would lead a man
是
to
有什么
just
哪种鼓励
abandon
量呢？
everything,
是一个人他可以不收税，
drop his
他
profession,
把他的钱全部放下
stand
来，
up?
就站起
Say-
来跟随这个人。
I want to throw my lot in with you.
他说：“我这钱我不要了，我要来跟随你。
Whatever you have, I want to have.
不管我以后我贫穷还是富裕，你有什么我都要。”
That rich young ruler made a wrong decision.
所以马太跟随了，可是这个年轻的这个财主他没有做正确的选择。
We're told in all three Gospels that he went away sad.
对，在每个福音书都说这个年轻财主都离开
Why?
了，很悲伤的离开
He。saw
为什么呢？
true love.
因为当时我相信
True
他
friendship.
看从耶稣的眼神
True
看到
caring.
真正的爱，真正的一个朋友，真正的就是对他关怀的一个人。
And he decided to turn his back on it
对，可是他
to
选择
protect his possessions.
他选择拒绝，他选择离开，因为他爱他的钱。
He knew he was losing something important.
对，他知道当时他选了一个选择，他选择钱，不选择这
So
个
in
人。
the middle of the trial,
所以在耶稣被审的中间的时候，
Jesus' eyes scanned through the shadows and
所以
encountered Peter.
耶稣当时他回头就找到了彼得的眼
The
睛，就看了
trumpet is
他。
still ringing in his ears.
那时可能3点钟的这个号角声还在
His
吹。
eyes are locked on Jesus.
当时耶稣的眼睛就锁定了彼得
And
的
he
眼睛。
remembers the prophecy that Jesus had spoken at dinner, and he breaks down and weeps.
当时彼得就记得当时耶稣之前吃饭的时候跟他鼓励他的话语，
He
他就
flees
开
the
始哭了
scene,
他也没办法接受，他就离开。
a totally broken man.
当时他就是完全一个就是破碎的一个人了。
How could I have done this?
说我怎么可能做出这样
How
的一
could
个
I
事
have
情
been
呢？
so disloyal?
我怎么可以这样不忠诚？就是
He's done
我
so
朋友
much
最
good
需要
for
我的
me.
时候，他给我这么多的好。
Something more you need to know about this story.
觉得我可能要再跟你们说一个细节。
All of this happens around fires, remember?
所以这个故事呢，都是在这个火面前发生的
The
事情。
gospel writers use three different words for fire.
对，可是这个3个福音书呢，他们用这个形容词“火”这个形容词是不一样的
And,
形容词。
Some of these words emphasize the flames and the heat that the fire makes.
对，有些这个词
In
呢
the
是在说，这希腊语里面就是说这个火的这个火焰的这样的形容。
Some of them emphasize the light that
有些形容这
fire
个
gives off. So one's the heat, one's the light.
所以有一个是形容它的这个火，它的热，这个另外一个是形容这个火的它的发的光和亮。
But in the Gospel of John,
可是，在约翰福音里面，
remember John's the only one that was in the courtyard with Peter.
对这个福音书里面呢，其实只有约翰他本身他在跟彼得在
He,
场，
he describes what the fire was like.
他怎么用这个形容词来形容这个火呢
Have you been camping
你们有
sometimes?
去露营吗？
Four-wheel drive DTSers,
就是
you
那
know.
些露营 DTS，
And you're out there,
对，你在这是旷野，在
And
那
you
个
build a
树林
big
里面的时候
bonfire.，
你就起火，对吗？
and as the evening goes on,
就这个开始就天黑了，
the wood becomes cold and gets hotter and hotter.
对，这个火呢就开始就是慢慢的就是冷下
And
来
it's
了，
just this bright red
对，可
that's
能没有火
glowing.
焰，就只有那个火，就是那个木，就
These
是
charcoal coals.
就变成像那种的，就是这一堆的这样的一个这个怎么说啊？就 charcoal。
And so this is a very
Cut.
special word, and it's, in Greek it's anthrakia.
对，希腊语呢就是这个。
And John says that's what the fire was like at the third and final time when
所以
Peter denied him.
当时约翰就说，这个火呢，就是不是没有火焰了，就是差不多要熄灭那种的这个火。
That word is only found one other place in Scripture.
所以这个形容这个
That Greek
火的
word.
这个形容词呢，在
There's,
哪里呢？
there's only one other fire in Scripture that is exactly like the fire in the high priest's courtyard.
对，当时他还有用另外一个在圣经另外一部分呢，用同样的这个形容词来形容这个火堆。
You would find this fire a few days later
所以这个几天之后呢，一个事情，
on a beach in Galilee.
在加利利海边的一个也有同样的一个形容词来形容一个火堆。
Jesus has risen from the dead.
那时耶稣已经复活了，
And this is the third time he's going to reveal himself to his followers.
这是第3次，他就在他的门徒使徒面前彰显他自己。
Peter and 6 of his friends have returned to Galilee from Jerusalem,
所以那时他们逃的时候呢，彼得和他的6个门徒就逃回加利利海那边去，
and they're doing what they were always doing before they met
所以
Jesus.
他们就回到他们以前的工作，
They were fishing.
他们就开始钓鱼。
And once again, it wasn't going very well for them.
对，而且他们钓鱼的时候又再一次不是很成功了。
And as they fished through the night,
他们他们就昼夜钓鱼的时候，
it's early morning. It's early morning.
就到天亮的时候，
They see a man on the beach.
他们就看到岸边有一个人，
He greets them from afar.
所以岸边这个人就向他们挥手，
And he says, "How's it going?
他说：“哎，你们钓的怎么样
Sup?"
他说：“啊，这个很不好，
Something like that, okay?
对差不多可能比较更粗俗的语言。”
And he said, "Have you caught anything?"
他说：“哎，你捕鱼捕的怎么样呢？”
I remember somebody on the beach like that who
Yes,
asked me
hey,
that question
Stephen.
sometime before.
他突然间让我想起以前有同样一个人也跟我这样问我，
And I said, "Nothing."
他说：“我钓不到什么鱼。”
Again, put your nets down on the other side.
所以这个人就跟我们说：“哎，你有没有尝试在船的另外一边捕
And
鱼呢？”
immediately the fish started jumping in.
突然间这个鱼就哇，真的是捕到了，
It ended up being 153 big ones.
所以就捕到了153只大鱼。
You know, Jesus, the risen Lord, is present,
所以这个耶稣他复活的主，
but these are fishermen.
可是这些是渔夫。
They count the fish.
对他耶稣在那边的时候，他们去数鱼。
153 big ones is as big as a miracle as a resurrected person on the beach.
他说：“哇，我们
If you're a
153只大鱼真的是奇迹，有点真的很大的
And
奇
when this
迹。”
happens,
他们发生的时候，
John says, "It's the master."
他说：“这个是神迹了，这个人是我们的主
They fish kind of stripped down to almost nothing.
Peter。”所以彼得，
Everybody did.
哦，
That's
所
how
以
they
每
did.
个人呢就开始脱衣，
And so Peter puts on his cloak and jumps in the water.
对他们就彼得就开始就
And
跳进这
swims to
水里面
shore.，
就去游啊游啊游，
And like he can't wait to be with Jesus.
他就想去找，就
And he
看耶
comes on
稣。
shore,
他到岸上的时候，
and Jesus has fire cooking.
那时耶稣呢就坐在一个火堆的面
And
前，
he looks at the fire,
他看着这个火，
and it's described as an anthrachia.
所以他这个希腊语 anthrakia，它
It's
是
exactly like
用同样的形容词来
the courtyard
形
fire
容这个岸边的这个火。
Jesus recreates the moment of distance.
对，那时耶稣就制造了当时彼得否认他的这样的一个环境，
And creates a moment for potential restoration.
就他也知道这样的环境为什么呢？是帮助让彼得可以原谅自己，可以就是他的跟他们两个的关系可以
The
被
scriptures
修
say
复。
Jesus served them breakfast of fish and bread.
这经文也说，耶稣之后呢，就通过这个火呢，就做了饼，还有做了鱼给他们吃。
Our King is so amazing.
对，我们的主呢是何等的善良，
He doesn't come with reprimands and harsh words. How could you have possibly denied me when I most needed it in my moment of greatest trial?
觉得耶稣他也不是就是用很严厉的话语说，哎呀，你们为什么被离弃我呢？你们为什么没有就是这样来跟随我？
He came to Peter and he comes to us as a servant.
对，当时他虽然说他被背叛了，可是他还是以这样的一个仆人的方式来到彼得面前。
And he came to Peter
他来彼得面前的时候，
using, appropriately, Peter's love language.
他还使用这个彼得这个吃的这样的爱的语言来祝福他，来爱他。
Here we are, Peter.
说：“哎，彼得，来吃吧。”
You know, there are all kinds of echoes with bread and fish. 5,000 fed, 4,000 fed. How many times have they eaten together?
我觉得在圣经里面呢，就是耶稣的故事都是有鱼跟饼的，他们就很多时候在一起吃鱼跟吃饼。
No one could catch fish like Peter. No one could prepare fish like Jesus.
对，所以没有人可以捕鱼像彼得，没有人可以就是做
It
饭
was,
像
it
耶
was the
稣。
best of partnerships.
所以他们是一个很好的搭档。
And it says that Jesus served them.
他也说耶稣就服侍了他们。
And as they were finishing eating,
他们吃完的时候呢，
he said, Peter, let's walk along the beach.
说彼得，我们去散步一下吧。
Do you love me?
说彼得，你还爱我吗？
Oh, Lord, you know I love you.
他说啊，主啊，你肯定知道我爱你。
Peter, do you love me?
他就说第二次，彼得，你爱我
Oh,
吗？
Lord,
他说主
yes,
啊
I，love you.
我肯定是爱你的。
A third time, do you love me?
彼得他就在问彼得第三次，你爱我吗？
And Jesus gave him an opportunity in the most simple and sensitive and caring way to turn 3 denials into 3 I love yous.
我就觉得耶稣就通过3次的机会帮助他来，就是肯定这个关系。
Who is like this Jesus?
对，没有人可以像这个耶稣一样。
He doesn't criticize us in our moment of failure.
对我们在就是最失败的时候不批评我们，
He seeks out a way to bless us,
对他还是想很
To
多
love
的方
on
式
us.
来祝福我们，来爱我
to
们，
serve us,
来服侍我们，
to care for us.
来就是继续的关怀我们。
Friend, wherever you are in your walk with the Lord,
对，所以我们的朋友们，我们不管我们跟
I want to
神
tell
在
you
哪一个
this.
段落，我们的关系是多深还是多浅？
your past failures don't disqualify you from your future inheritance.
对，我觉得我要想就是鼓励你们，你们以前的犯的错，这不会就是说导致你将来的生命是怎么样的。
If you'll just allow yourself to be loved by Jesus.
我觉得我们最重要的选择是我们要是领受耶稣的爱。
If you'll let him serve you,
如果你们愿意就是说敞开，让他
if
来
you'll
真
let
的
him
爱
care
你，
for you,
让他来关怀你，
if you'll let him feed you,
如果让他来就是喂养你，
if you'll walk the beach of life with him.
你就是如果愿意就是说回到这个湖边去进入跟他的关系。
You know, when you blow it,
如果我们犯错的时候，
that's the time when we think,
可能我们什么觉得像我们彼得一样，哇，我就
I
完
can
全
no longer do the thing that I was intended to do.
对我没有脸，就是回到我以前就是之前哇说我要做的一些为
I've
神做
ruined
的
my
事情，
chances.
我机会已经拜拜了，没有
Every
了。
time Peter responded,
所以那时彼得这样的回应的时候，
Jesus said, feed my sheep.
彼得这耶稣说
Feed
你
my lambs, tend my sheep,
喂
feed
养
my
喂
sheep.
我的羊群，喂我的羊群。
Different words in Greek, it doesn't matter.
对，可能他用不同的这些希腊语，我们不去管它。
It does, but not for this message.
对，可能我们这时候不要说这些希腊语的讲解。
What it means is simply this.
可是这个希腊语的用的方式是说什么呢？
You still have a place.
说你还有责任，你还是有一个身份，
You still have an inheritance.
你还是在我的国里面有产业，
You still have a destiny.
就你还有这样的一个你还有这个我的一个呼召，
And we still have a relationship.
对，而且我们还有这样的关系。
Jesus so artfully and sensitively recreates that scene.
我觉得那时耶稣就就是很通情达理，就是也知道这个破碎的心灵，制造同样这样一个环境来修复他的这样的一个尊严。
Think about Jesus.
我们来想耶稣，
He's the one who prayed for Peter
对他当时彼得还没犯罪之前，他说我在为你代祷了。
before he had failed.
对他还没犯罪之前，他已经有这
He,
样
he
的心，
understood the passion that Peter had for him, but also his weaknesses.
所以他知道彼得是他朋友，他知道他的这个人是很有火热，可是他也很冲动。
Hebrews 7 tells us that this same Peter is praying for you and me all the time.
这希伯来书7章就说，这个彼得他也是为我们在代祷。
He is the one who thought not of himself, but of his beloved, and looked into his eyes in the midst of that trial.
所以当时耶稣就当时他不在乎他自己被钉，他在乎的是他在这个院子外面的朋友。
And he's looking at you.
我觉得耶稣现在也在看你们，
You are precious to him.
他还说你们是在他们眼中是宝贵
He's
的
the。one who restored Peter, and he's the one who can restore you.
对，他修复了这个彼得的生命，他也可以修复你的生命。
Jesus spoke hope, purpose, and destiny into Peter's life, and he can do the same for you.
就当时耶稣就给他彼得新的盼望、新的生命。我觉得耶稣今天也可以给你新的盼望、新的生命。
He doesn't expect you to be flawless,
耶稣不要求我们就是说成为完美的人，
but he expects you to accept his invitation to breakfast on the beach.
这个是他邀请我们，就是接受他的邀请，跟他一起吃饭，一起就是有这样的一个关系。
So wherever you are in your journey with God,
所以不管你跟神的这个关系在哪一个程度，
I encourage you,
对我的祷告是，
keep drawing near to him,
我们继续去追求他，
for he has drawn near to you.
对，因为他在追求你，
He has come to meet you and has set his heart to serve you.
对，他已经下定了决心，说他要追求你，他要赢得你的心，他要来服侍你。
Listen carefully,
对，我们要来聆听他，
because he'll serve you in the love language of your heart.
对，我们的耶稣，他是以我们爱的语言、爱的方式来爱我们。
It might even involve a breakfast of fish and bread.
对，可能你的爱的语言是鱼和饼，他会用这样的方式来爱你。
As I've been here this weekend thinking about the incredible people who are on this base,
对，我在想，这基地里面充满了就是很
I
很
sense
宝贵的人。
Jesus' great anticipation of all the incredible things he's going to accomplish in and through each and every one of
对，
you.
我也仿佛可以感受到耶稣在看你们的时候，他看到他要通过你们的生命来造就、来祝福到的这些其他的人。
His heart is bursting out with hope for you.
觉得耶稣在看你们的时候，他眼睛是充满了盼望的。
Allow his hope to outshine your failures.
对，我要鼓励你们，就要真的更多的来看他的盼望，把这个盼望来遮盖你们的自己的过犯。
Marisha probably has something here at the end.
所以我想邀请 Melissa 上来。
But before I hand it over to her, I'd just like to invite you to respond to Jesus.
这可能还没邀请他上来之前，我想邀请你们来回应耶稣的邀请。
If you can identify in any way with any aspect of Peter's story,
如果你在生命的故事里面，你可以感受到彼得他当时背叛耶稣这样的一
or
个
if
情
you'd
况，
like to identify
但是
with
你可
certain
能想要
aspects of
去
Peter's
更多的
story,
去感受到这样的一个神修复你的关系，
I'd like to ask you to stand
我要邀请你来站立起来，
and just tell Jesus
就像耶稣说，
that you want to meet him on the beach,
说我要在这个湖边的岸上来
that
遇
you want to
见你，
walk your life with him.
说我要就是一生来跟随你。
We have all made the wrong choice at times to distance ourselves from Jesus, to
对，我们每-
disassociate ourselves from him.
对，我们每个人可能都在生命里面做了一些选择，说我们要远离神，我们不承认神，我们说不要有跟耶稣有关系。
We've rationalized away relationship in order to justify our
可能我们因
selfishness.
着我们自己自私的选择，说我要做的事情，我不要这个耶稣来跟我说怎么样什么
But he
事
wants
情
you。to know
可是耶稣要跟你说，
you are loved.
对你，我还是仍然爱你
You，are loved.
你是被爱的，
You are loved.
你是被爱的，
You are loved.
你是被爱的。
Would you just reach your hands out to him?
我们就向耶稣张
I
起我们的手，
pray,
抬起
dear
手。
Jesus,
所以主耶稣，我祷告，
for each one of us gathered in this room,
为我们每一个人来祷告。
may the reality of your love touch us afresh tonight and over the next days, this weekend and next week and beyond.
去你的爱可以真真实实的来，就是再次的感动我们，帮助我们更深的来意识你的爱。
Help our eyes to connect with your penetrating, loving gaze.
所以帮助我们的眼睛可以就是定睛来看你的眼睛，
Help our hearts to journey back into places of pain and find your restoration.
所以帮助我们的心就是找回就是以前最伤痛、最黑暗的时间，可以在那个情况里面
We
领受
thank
你的医
you
治
that。you live forever in order to make intercession for us.
感谢你，你是在天堂永恒的为我们带到。
That just as you prayed for Peter, you're praying for each one of us.
其实如同你为彼得代祷，你也为我们代祷。
And the story did not end in denial and failure.
我们感谢耶稣，这个彼得的故事不是他不忠之后就结束了。
Peter said with unwise bluster, I will die for you.
就那时彼得他很鲁莽的说：“我为我的生命是你的。”
And he didn't that night, but he in time did do precisely that.
对，虽然说他当天他的生命是自私，他没有把生命给，可是最后他的生命是真的是给了耶稣。
He became all that you intended him to be.
对，他通过神的恩典、神的爱，他真的是把生命的完
And
全的
you're
奉
at
献
work in
了。
our lives to make us all that you intend us to be.
对，感谢你主耶稣，通过你的恩典，我们真的是可以把生命也献给你。
Would you just tell Jesus yes?
对，我们向
Whatever he
神
wants to
回应
do
说，我们愿意，
However he wants to do it,
不管他通过什么方式，
just let him know that you'll cooperate with him.
说耶稣，我们愿意，就是说与你合作。
Here we are, Lord.
我们在这里，
Eager, desirous,
我们是迫切，我们是渴望的。
way more than just merely available. We want
对，我们
you.
不是只是说敞开，可是我们是迫切的。我们说我
We
们要你，
invite you.
我们邀请你，
Work in our lives.
去在我生命动工，
Establish your purposes.
去你在我的生命成就你的旨意，
Make us more and more your people.
对，塑造我们成为你的样式。
Thank you for your love.
感谢你的爱
Thank，you for your grace.
感谢你的恩典，
Thank you for your transforming capacity.
感谢你就是改变我们的这样的
Thank
力
you
量，
for infusing us with hope.
感谢你就是你的盼望来浇灌我们。
Amen.
阿门。